Hello YouTube, how's it going? Have a fancy little project here. I figured I would share the journey with all y'all. So what we have here is 13B Spinny Boy, and we have a S14. This car came in with a pretty rough front end. It's on airbags. All the airbags leak, so pushing it's been real fun. The front left was crunched, so that upper rad support has been removed. Basically just did a little tube front on it. The whole front's been cut off, and then just little standoffs from the frame rails up to kind of get these new body panels lined up. He's got a new bumper coming. He's from the next province over, so doing some work on this for him. Eventually, this is going to be going in there. This was a K24 turbo car. Still got the gearbox and the downpipe in there. Looks like a complete disaster with all this wiring, but a few things to note is that downpipe is on the wrong side, so full exhaust is coming out. We got to drop that gearbox, and then we're going to get the rotary transmission bolted up to the engine, and hopefully we can get that suited in there with some engine mounts and tranny mount. We'll see how the shifter location, how all that fits. It's going to be running S chassis style radiator, and then we got to make a front mount intercooler setup. So there's some stuff to be done on this unit here. But yeah, that should be a cool little car when it's done. Haven't done a lot of S14 stuff. Done multiple engine swaps, but rotary into S14 is pretty cool. So yeah, making a bash bar on it right now. We're going to shuffle it out, get it on the lift. It's going to be a lot easier to work on this stuff. But yeah, rotary S14. Pretty cool. 1.3 liters of fury. So, did shuffle the car over. Peeled the bumper off so you can kind of see the tube front that's going on here. Running the factory lights. Kind of have an OEM feel going to it. Still got to make this bash bar. That's first on the list before the swap even gets started. I did get that bumper peeled off, so we got some tubes we're going to bend to the contour of the bumper and kind of integrate it to fit on this car. Did manage to get the exhaust pulled at least. The old one-piece farmer job is out of here. The K24 gearbox is going to be up next. That transmission's got to go. The two-piece OEM drive shaft is no bueno. That's also got to go. And yeah, just kind of make way for the swap. I figured I'd get it on the lift because leaking airbags is not a good time. Anywho, let's get going on the bash bar and get this gearbox and drivetrain out of the way. Okay, a few days later, picking up where we left off. Kind of been bouncing around different jobs here, but we're getting back to the S14 rotary swap. So, managed to drop the transmission out of this, the K gearbox. Lowered that puppy down, and then got on making the bash bar. I'd start with polishing all the tube, doing a bit of layout, and then getting it to kind of fit the contour of the front bumper. Did have to use a bunch of different pieces of wood to kind of level it out to the height of the car. That's always kind of a challenge to make everything flow nicely, and it also wants to fit in the front of the bumper real good. So we got the bash bar done. Tube front end all welded out, intercoolers mounted, radiators mounted, headlights are mounted. She's looking fresh. So now we're getting to the engine side of it. We did manage to kind of get it rested in there. I wanted to kind of organize the shop, so we kind of put it all together and just dropped her in there. There's multiple things that need to happen to get this to fit a little better. For starters, the transmission needs to go up a little higher. The shifter's already actually kind of poking through the location there, which is really, really good. The shifter's going to be poking right through there. But it needs to go a little higher in the trans tunnel. So we're going to pull this engine and transmission out again and kind of massage the tunnel to accept the transmission a little more. And then, yeah, the oil pan is basically sitting on top of the front subframe. So we got to pull it out and get creative here to get the clearances we need. The turbo system, or the turbo manifold, is going to need to be removed and modified. It's literally touching the front subframe. So engine's got to come out, turbos have got to come off. The 2-port manifold has got to be removed. So yeah, picking up where we left off. Hopefully we can get this engine and transmission mounted in here. We're going to be using the front engine mount, which I guess would be off like a, I don't know, FB. I'm not a huge ARC-7 guy, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a front cover. I believe that's like the mid-80s style. So the engine was dropped off to me. I don't know a lot of history about where it came from or what car it came from or any of that, but I do know that the front cover was swapped, and it also has like I think a Renesas pan on it. So there's no left and right engine mount. It's just going to be kind of like the front beam style. So I've never mounted an engine like that. It's kind of like an engine plate, essentially. So yeah, we're going to pull the engine out, get it to sit where we want it to, and then start making, the trans mount's going to be very simple. It's almost right where it needs to go. And then the front engine plate, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be fabricated as well. So I'll pull this engine out again for the, 500,000th time. Pull that sucker out and see if we can get this to fit a little nicer. Yank that puppy. It's looking a little better. Pulled the turbo and everything off. Now we have even space on both sides. Turbo system's gonna have to be reworked. Adjusted the rigging a little bit, so now she's hanging pretty level. It's actually not even touching the table. So try to stab her back in there. Use a sledgehammer and the dead blow there, and give her a little love taps. So stab her back in there, see what happens. In and out, in and out, in and out. 6,000 times. We finally got it to sit. Level, center, shifter's in a good spot. It took some heavy massaging, if you will, of the transmission tunnel. And the shifter is sticking up nice through the S14 shifter location. So everything's good. Transmission mount was fabricated, so I'll show you guys what that kind of looks like. I got to pull this out one more time. We're going to be running our tube just under the front here, tying to each frame rail. So I got to pull the engine out yet again to get in there and do a bit of drilling and cutting and welding. So we're going to pull her out again and show you exactly how it all fits in there with that tranny mount, and hopefully put it back in again for the last time with the front engine mount there too. So, and just like that, it's in. I'll take the car up and show you that trans mount. Like I said, I just welded it out and got it installed, so then we could go ahead and work on the front of it. So we did get it leveled out and centered. We had a bunch of shims on the subframe there to kind of get it where we wanted it to be, and the clearances that it needed. And then we kind of had plates welded onto each frame rail with nuts welded on the back. So the plate is actually welded onto the frame rail, and then the base plate for this engine mount is separate. So we have a bolted connection on each side, and then the front plate is bolted directly to the front cover with a little isolator in between the two of them. That way it's just not metal on metal. Transmission mount is very similar to that. So yeah, let's go up on the lift, have a look at the transmission mount. 25 minutes later, car's up in the air. So here is that fancy transmission mount. So the S14, the mounting location for the transmission is actually kind of on different planes. So one angle iron is bolted heel up and the other one's heel down. And then we have a bolted section that goes right to the transmission, and then again a little isolator in between the two. So it kind of sits on top of that. So there's the transmission mount. Took some messing about. Top of the tranny is really tight to the tunnel, and that's what we were kind of fighting this whole time. We're trying to get the tunnel a little bit more clearance upwards. So, anywho, that's her. Still be able to use the drain plug location pretty easily. I think everything will be easy to work on, really. Quite a bit of room for activities on each side. We're gonna have to snake exhaust on the other opposite side as it was when it was KA. So yeah, other than that, the engine is mounted. Yeah, she's in there. Looks so small. Little baby guy. So I'm gonna put the radiator and the intercooler back on, take some measurements. Turbo system needs to be reworked. It needs a downpipe, full exhaust, coolant pipes, intercooler pipes, intake. So the fab work is not done yet, but it is in there. Let's probably throw the bash bar and some other components back on, and continue the fab work in another video. But yeah, 13B into S14.
I'm the voice of Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants, and I'm hanging out with Destroy on Sirius XM Shade 45.